News from Hiroshima ahead of the G7 summit. Members of the journalism club at Sotoku High School in Hiroshima held a serious discussion. During this group work, questions such as, "What do you think the G7 summit is talking about?" were made to the participants. In response, participants affirmed international issues, environment, and gender issues. During its editorial work, Sotoku High School's journalism club has covered various topics, including peace, society, and sports. It won first prize in national competitions last year and the year before. Currently, the journalism club is mainly interested in the G7 Hiroshima summit. A representative student of the journalism club states, "I am happy that the summit is being held in Hiroshima, and as a high school student in Hiroshima, it is an opportunity for me to talk to people about the summit. I don't discuss the summit with my classmates, which is a problem. I want to publish a newspaper, not as a serious activity just for a journalism club, but as something we can think about together." The students are also very enthusiastic about the Hiroshima G7 summit and have formed a special team to cover the theme of the Hiroshima G7 and have also come up with a unique logo. Last month, the journalism club team visited the police chief of the Hiroshima Prefectural Summit Response Section. As preparations are underway for the G7 summit, the most significant security event in the history of prefectural policing, the team analyzed the police's approach to the summit and its security during the summit from a particular perspective. A student at the club commented, "Police officers perform their duties thinking that they have to be police officers 24 hours a day, and I felt very intensely that this is a high-pressure job." The students had about a week to complete the article based on their impressions and notes taken during the interviews. The newspaper, distributed to all students on March 1st, was supplemented with articles and originality that only high school students can provide. Among the stories featured, there was one about the cuff links worn by the police section chief and an investigation of awareness within the school. Members of the journalism club also interviewed survivors of the atomic bombing of Hiroshima and Nagasaki, surrounded by the press. With pointed questions, they highlighted their hopes for the G7. One student asked, "You had said in various articles that you saw hope amid despair when you noticed some glimpses of blue sky after the atomic bombings, and I think the current situation in Ukraine is close to a state of despair. What do you think is the hope right now?" In response, a bombing survivor said, "We are now divided into two poles, the United States and Russia. I think there are things we can do to mediate. I hope Japan will play an important role in that. There is a wonderful thing called the Nuclear Weapons Convention. I hope Japan will return to square one and try to eliminate nuclear weapons again. Prime Minister Kishida is from Hiroshima, so I hope he has courage. I want him to be a warrior for peace, not just a politician," she replied. Through meetings with these people, young people continue to think about peace. They know the current problems and have high hopes for the G7 summit, which will be held for the first time in the bombed city. A student in the club concluded by saying, "Nuclear weapons are in danger of being used again, and it is difficult to see what the future holds. As politicians, leaders are coming to Hiroshima, and I hope that from what they saw in Hiroshima, they can also become peace warriors," as Ms. Tanaka said, "and take courageous measures." Let's move on to the last news. Today, the parapets at the end of the waterfall bridge below Daishoin Temple have been repainted in a bright vermilion color, and are illuminated by the sun. Miyajima Island has been named one of the candidate sites for leaders to visit during the G7 summit in Hiroshima. Since there will be a possibility of official events being held and leaders visiting the island, the Hatsukeichi City Maintenance and Management Division is working to create a new staging area. Since then, work has been ongoing to repair obsolete equipment. The painting contractor said, "I think this vermilion color will be even more beautiful because the summit will be held in May, in the middle of spring." Tsujikabashi Bridge, near a Tsukushima Shrine, also received a new look. Preparations for the summit are underway everywhere in Hiroshima Prefecture.